Hello, world, and welcome to the Quick Kick Picks presented by Bros Talking Soccer. My name is Dave Kindle here live in person with my brother Christian. Christian, hello.
Hello, David.
It is MLS Match Week 8.5. We're in between MLS Match Week 8 and 9, so I call these midweek matches 8.5. Casual. We're both a little bit more casual than normal because it's midweek, and hey, we like to have fun here. We got 5 matches we're reviewing today. Christian, you ready to jump into things?
I'm ready.
All right. First match we have is NYCFC taking on the Chicago Fire, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 24th, Wednesday. Christian, what's going to happen in this one for you?
Well, the Fire have started better than I expected them to. They're 7th in the East right now. NYCFC is in 9th, which is probably exactly where I expected them to be currently. Yeah, I didn't really rate their team that highly coming in. They lost some key pieces. You want me to mention who they lost? Because I do it every time. Villa and Patrick Vieira. So, yeah, They're an okay squad. I think they're going to get the job done against the Chicago Fire team that is decent, but again, isn't filled with talent all over the pitch. And although they have good pieces, I don't trust their back line still. And I think NYCFC is going to get the win in this game. I'm predicting probably a 2-0 victory at home for NYCFC on that weird field that no one has to play against except for New York at home. But NYCFC have never lost to Chicago at home, which is a fun fact.
That
3 wins,
good stat.
2 draws in their 5 matches against them so far.
So I'm going to agree with you on an NYCFC win. I think Chicago keeps it a little bit closer. I think it ultimately ends 2-1. I'm in agreement with you on Chicago having a little bit of depth, specifically in the attacking third, but I just don't trust their back line. And they're just – I don't know about Schweinsteiger at center back, and I don't know about the rest of their defensive depth pieces. And for that reason, especially on a short week and traveling, I'm going to give the edge to NYCFC. They're coming off their first win of the season. They only have 1 loss, but ton of draws, and they got their first win against a strong DC side. Great that they got a goal from Hebert and an assist from him. They need better play from their center forward, and I think that bodes well. Do you have something you would like to say, or you're just smiling at me? All right, excellent analysis. Thank you for that. Chicago demolished a terrible Rapid side. The Rapids are just in real trouble this year, and I already mentioned their depth pieces. Ultimately, I think New York's home field advantage and better center forward play gets them a 2-1 victory. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it.
Next match, we have the New England Revolution taking on the Montreal Impact at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's happening in this one?
I'm just so lost for words with New England these days. I don't know how they won against the Red Bulls, but again, the Red Bulls just look like a travesty of a team compared to what they've been in the past. I don't know why I just mentioned that because that's a different game. So.
No, we're talking about the Revs. We're talking about the Revs.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's all mixed up over here.
I screwed up. That's why I was laughing when we did the intro.
Okay,
we're on the third.
We are on the correct
Just bear
game.
with us.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So New England versus Montreal. Yeah, the New England Revolution are a bad team. In my opinion, I just don't think that they're very good. And they won at home against a Red Bulls team that is very much struggling. Montreal are a pretty average team. We saw them get blown away in person this week at Philadelphia, right here on the chest, and I don't think either team really has a lot, especially with Montreal on the road. If Piazzi's not back, they just look lost at attack. They do not have any consistent pressure or attacking creative force. Attacking creative force. So I think that this is a draw. And I'm predicting like a 0-0 draw. I don't expect a lot here.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with you on the 0-0 draw. The Revs did get a win this weekend, and it was great to see them get a goal from a center forward, which they haven't gotten all season. So that hopefully bodes well for them in the future. But I just think from a talent perspective, the Revs are probably the second worst just on straight paper team in MLS, and I don't see that really getting better without strong reinforcements. I think San Jose is the worst. But San Jose, hey, they're rolling. We'll talk about them later. Now, Montreal did get spanked by the Union. Christian, you already touched on without Piatti, they have absolutely nothing going forward, and that is a serious concern. And up until that point, they've been pretty stout defensively, but the Union really didn't even do that much offensively, and were able to get 3 goals. And
that's 3 shots on target.
Yeah, that's a concerning sign if I'm a Montreal fan. And so for that reason, I'm in complete agreement with you. 0-0 draw on this one. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Next match, we are talking about is the Columbus Crew hosting DC United at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. Christian, what's going to happen here?
So Columbus versus DC, that's the one we're talking about now.
That's what we're talking about now.
All right,
yes.
so Columbus are doing pretty well in the league right now. I think they're in 4th in the East, and DC United, are they second now? First?
They're
still in first.
They have 2 less games played than Toronto. So Toronto on points per game basis is in first, but DC's top of the table technically.
Okay. I still think that DC are probably the second best team in MLS, maybe third right now. It just depends who you're talking about. I know a lot of the teams in the West are very, very good. The LAFC, I think, is clearly the best team in MLS right now. That isn't going to be discussed. I think DC deserves to be in the conversation at least. They might not be the second best team, but I think LA Galaxy and Seattle they're all very good teams. I would
put Toronto above DC, to be honest.
I guess that's true.
But let's not make this about that, because Toronto's defensive issues are concerning.
All right, enough about just DC.
Yes.
So about the actual game that's coming in Columbus. Columbus have looked pretty good at home. They are not giving up many goals. They struggled with the Timbers, as we saw last time out,
week at home.
and they gave up 3 to the Union on the road. So they've had a couple of mistakes, but in the games where they have really played well together, they look so composed at the back. They might not be free flowing and attacking and creative, but they are good enough, and I think that they're going to get a 2-1 win here against DC.
All right, interesting. I just don't think the Crew have enough moving forward. I don't think they have the offensive firepower. Clearly, they're strong defensively, and clearly they have their act together. Obviously, Zach Steffen is enormous for them at goalkeeper, but on the field, I feel like DC is stronger everywhere on the pitch beyond goalkeeper. Now, I know Bill Hamid might disagree with that. He's very self-confident, which is great. It's what you want to see from professional players. But for that reason, I still think this ultimately ends up as a 1-1 draw because DC United is on the road, but I do think DC is the stronger side if they're playing at a neutral venue. So I'm going to say this ultimately ends as a 1-1 draw.
I think they need their fire plow.
Next match we have is Minnesota United. There we go. Do I have these the right way? Minnesota United. Is that the right way?
That is the right way.
Minnesota United hosting the LA Galaxy. I'm a goddamn mess. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Christian, what's happening in this one, or do you need me to go first?
I will go first. LA are the much more talented team in this game.
Yes.
And they're going to win this game. I think it's going to be pretty close, maybe a 2-1 victory for the Galaxy. But who can contain Ibra? I assume he's going to travel. I know sometimes he doesn't, but he has gotten more involved in their travel plans this year in his second season. So I expect him to just dominate that Minnesota back line.
Yeah.
I just don't think it has anywhere near the quality it needs to contain. Probably one of the best strikers in the league, if not the best striker in the league. He is just a phenomenon, and we saw it against the Union a couple of weeks ago. He just brings the ball down off his chest and no one can do anything about it. It really is just
it's such an outlet in possession.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And that's not all he provides though, because we've seen it with CJ Sapong in the past with the teams he's been on. He's able to hold off the ball, but he doesn't provide the goals. And this is the opposite. Not the opposite. This is everything. He has the whole package, and there's just no one on Minnesota who's going to stop him. They're going to win this game, and I'm saying 2-1.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Unlike the last 2 games we've talked about, I think there's going to be goals galore in this. I don't have a ton of confidence in either of these 2 sides' defensive teams. Their defensive outlets. That's not the right word, but the Galaxy did bring in Giancarlo Gonzalez, and I think he's going to help stabilize that back line. Now, you already touched on Ibra is fantastic for them. I do think the LA Galaxy moving forward can be a bit one-dimensional just with swinging and crosses and relying on Ibra. I think they do need to add more to their game than just having that, but I still give the LA Galaxy a nod here. And, Minnesota United keeps taking leads in matches, but then conceding them. And just defensively, they're not very good. I thought they were going to be so much better this year, and they started off the year okay, but they're just conceding a ton of goals. And for that reason, I have the Galaxy ultimately getting a 3-2 road victory here. Anything else you want to add?
If you're going to be one-dimensional, that's the one guy to do it with.
Oh, that's very true. Last match of the weekend, we have the Seattle Sounders hosting the San Jose Earthquakes, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not of the weekend. It's during midweek. Just realized that as I said that. Christian, what's going to happen in this one?
Well, this is the tale of 2 very different sides. I think Seattle are very, very talented, one of the best in the league. Probably the second or third best team in the West. San Jose, not so much. I think that
4-1
they
win this weekend.
they may have won 4-1, but just look at that team. It's hard to look at them and say, oh, that team can beat anybody on any day. Like they really just. I think that they need to add something, and I don't know how a team that has existed this long and it's pretty historical in MLS really just has such trouble bringing in talent. And it's surprising to me, but especially in the Bay Area, like that's a really marketable
Yeah, a lot of money.
place to go. Yeah. So
It's lovely
I
living
think
there.
the Sounders are easily winning this game, and I'm sorry to say that to you San Jose fans who are going to be traveling slightly north, but you might want to save your money and not travel so far because this is a Seattle route, and I'm predicting a 4. I'll say they get 4-1 victory.
All right, I'm predicting a Seattle route as well. Seattle was beaten easily by the best team in the league, LAFC, this past weekend, but they were missing Chad Marshall and Raul Ruidiaz. They have not looked right in the attacking third without Ruidiaz. And so that's a slight concern. And also their center back depth with Roman Torres as their third center back. That's a concern for Seattle as well, because he's simply not up to it anymore. Now, San Jose beat the absolute crap out of Sporting Kansas City this weekend, but I just don't have a ton of confidence in them being able to replicate that against the Seattle
on
side.
The road, no.
Yeah, on the road, and SKC
short week,
exactly.
Everything.
SKC was tired, and for that reason, I think San Jose, when they're on their game and they're playing that system, they can sort of catch teams off guard. But I just don't see that happening here. I do think Danny Hostin has been great for them at center forward, so I do want to give him a shout out. He's scoring goals and banging them in, and that's been great. And they seem to have settled on lineups and a lineup that seems to work. But I still think Seattle ultimately gets a 3-0 victory here. Anything else you want to add?
7 games they haven't lost in, so Seattle keeps that up.
There you go. Against San Jose?
Yep.
There you go. All right. Anything else you would like to add?
No.
All right. That is it. This has been Quick Kick Picks, MLS Match Week 8.5 edition. I'm Dave. That's Christian. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go enjoy some MLS. We'll be back with our weekend edition later this week. See you, everybody. Bye.